Hey guys and gals, thanks for tuning in. Billy Donnelly here for This Is Infamous. We're on the last stretch of the road to WrestleMania, with our final destination in sight, the 33rd installment of the WWE's signature show emanating from Orlando, Florida, here in 2017. One of the matches on the card will be a defense of the SmackDown Women's Championship, with current title holder Alexa Bliss putting her belt on the line against every woman on the SmackDown Live roster able to compete that night. Recently, I had a chance to talk with the current SmackDown Women's Champion about her road to this particular WrestleMania, including her experiences down in NXT, her call-up through the WWE brand extension draft, the momentum of women's wrestling at the moment, her expectations for this year's WrestleMania match, and so much more. So kick back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with the Wicked Witch of the WWE, Alexa Bliss. How are you today, Alexa?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent. Let's just jump right into it, I guess. So when you first broke into NXT, Alexa Bliss was very bubbly, very glittery, both figuratively and literally. But it was sort of when that heel turn took place in May 2015 that you sort of became now who you officially are. What were your thoughts, I guess, on the change in attitude at that time? And was it sort of a way to freshen up your character and see sort of how a new direction might take hold?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at first, when I knew that I needed to do an attitude change, I was actually having a lot of anxiety over it because who I was when I debuted in NXT was pretty much who I am, just turned up a notch. You know what I mean? So I will admit that I still have like a little obsession with glitter and all that sparkly things, and I've brought back the tutu a little bit since then, but yeah, I was having a lot of anxiety because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to be mean. Like, it's so much easier to be nice than to be mean. But, I took it as a challenge, and I knew I had to just run with it, because in WWE, you have to run with every opportunity that's given, because you never know when the next one's going to come. So it was one of those things where I was like, you know what, I just got to go for it and run with it. And it's been so much more fun and the most fun I've ever had.
Had you sort of hit your ceiling in NXT, I guess, last summer when you got called up with the draft? So, because at that point, the women's division was sort of in transition. They were rebuilding behind sort of Bayley and Asuka, and you had this sort of new wave of female talent coming up behind you. Did you see that sort of there was no more upward mobility for you at that time in NXT, and really the main roster was the only place to go?
Well, obviously, everyone's goal is to be on the main roster. That's why we get into what we. But I felt like I still had a lot to accomplish in NXT. I had never had a takeover match. I had never had the opportunity to really go for the women's title in NXT, and so those were goals that I definitely wanted to accomplish. But when I was drafted, that was those short-term goals all lead up to being drafted to the main roster. And so it was awesome to be able to have the opportunity to just go straight to the main roster. Obviously there are things I wanted to accomplish in NXT, but I wouldn't trade it for, my time that I've had on the main roster, because it's been unbelievable.
Well, let me talk about your debut on SmackDown, because it seemed as if there were a lot of women being thrown into the mix at the outset of the brand extension on SmackDown, and especially someone like you or Carmella, who were down in NXT and may not have been exposed to a WWE audience yet. Was there sort of any anxiety or concern about getting lost in the shuffle or being underdeveloped? So, how did you sort of see that situation unfold, and did you feel that you needed to do anything different to sort of stand out?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like everyone needs to have a moment to stand out, and especially when you're redrafting a whole roster, it's not just you're bringing one or two people into the mix. You're bringing 5, 6, 7 people and exposing them all at once to this audience, and you need to do something that separates yourself and make sure you stand out, and it was definitely nerve-wracking, because my fear was and always is to be lost in the shuffle, because you don't want to ever have that moment. So I just always try to make sure that whatever I do it with 110% of effort, and try to make the most out of the situation and leave knowing that I've given it all that I have.
Was that sort of where the Harley Quinn touches started to surface?
Well, so with that, I had always loved to do kind of a cosplay theme in NXT. When I was with Blake and Murphy, we've done
the Freddy Krueger. Yeah.
Iron Man. We did Iron Man, and then we were going to try to do Joker. And with that, I was talking to Murphy, and he was like, "Why don't you just still do it? Like, still do your whole cosplay thing?" Because the ideas of the cosplay things actually all came from him. Like, he was like, "Ooh, what if we all, had a theme?" And so I try to every, major pay-per-view or something have a different theme. And so when I was like, you know what, I want to try the Harley Quinn thing, because I had always loved, the villains and comics and all that stuff. And so I was like, I'm just going to go for it. And it actually had a better response than I anticipated. And so I got to keep with that for a little bit. And I got to bring back the Freddy gear. And, the Iron Man will probably resurface at some point. I've done Superman. I have a few others that I have ready, but I haven't done yet. And there's definitely going to be a new one at Mania.
Excellent.
At WrestleMania.
Getting the call to carry the SmackDown Women's Championship, I mean, sort of going into it that this moment is going to happen, but does it not really hit you until it's a real thing?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anything really hits you, because when I was just made SmackDown Women's Champion, it didn't hit me until my first match as a SmackDown Women's Champion. I had a whole week before then until I had a match, and it doesn't really set in until after it comes into play. And it was just, it's very nerve-wracking, but it's very exciting, because you have so much to lose with having the title, and you just have to make sure that you're doing whatever it takes to win.
When it comes to sort of the momentum of women's wrestling right now, you have all sorts of new ground being broken. You have tables matches, steel cage matches, Hell in a Cell matches, Falls Count Anywhere matches, Iron Man matches, what seems to be essentially a gauntlet match for you at WrestleMania. I guess, can you talk a bit about this increased interest in women's wrestling right now and allowing these boundaries to be pushed where they haven't been before?
Oh, it's an amazing time right now to be a woman in WWE, because we're definitely pushing the boundaries. We're I guess breaking all the rules, as you can say, and we're main eventing. We are making history. I've had a steel cage match for the women's title, which had never been done before, and that was an amazing moment. And we just have to make sure that we're keeping this momentum going. And the Four Horsewomen definitely paved the way for us for the women's revolution, but it's time for us to take it to a step further. And I have no doubt in my mind that we can do that. And the women in NXT are doing that in NXT as well. And, it's definitely going to be one of those things that we're doing an amazing job now, but we're just only going to get better with time.
You were part of WrestleMania previously as part of Triple H's entrance harem at WrestleMania 30, but this year will be your first as an in-ring competitor. And you mentioned that you never had a takeover match, but here you'll have a pretty sizable WrestleMania match. Everyone talks in general about how special being part of WrestleMania is, but how do you really put into words what this experience is like, with WrestleMania being such a high point in the WWE calendar year? And does it take on anything extra being in Orlando for you, being that this is really where your journey as a superstar began?
Oh, it's an amazing moment. Like, even for Triple H's entrance, I was at a loss of words, being in the area of the crowd and just hearing the whole excitement. And that wasn't even for me. You know what I mean? And it was like, it was just such an amazing moment. And WrestleMania, having a match at WrestleMania is the epitome of everyone's career. It's what everyone works for, is a match at WrestleMania. And the fact that I'm going into WrestleMania, I plan to, as the women's champion, is definitely the biggest point in my career. And it's an amazing thing, because I started wrestling here in Orlando with NXT, and just for it to come circle the way it is something that I'm looking forward to so much. And my family's going to be there, my parents are going to be there, and I'm at the highest right now, and I'm just so excited about it.
Was this gauntlet match part of the original plan? Naomi had captured the belt from you, and then this injury sort of took place. Was that was this part of the sort of the end game heading into WrestleMania, or was this an adjustment on the fly to then sort of make the best of a bad situation, I guess?
Well, I mean, if it was the best of any situation, I would just be going out there at WrestleMania with the title and saying hello to everybody, and then with my presence, and not having to spend it. But that's just me, you know. But the fact that now I have to face every available woman on the roster, I told Daniel Bryan that I think it's a personal attack on me. You know, it's not fair. But, you know, I'm a fighting champion, and it's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make the best out of every situation. You know, I said that on SmackDown, I said that, you know, Naomi couldn't handle the pressures of being a champion, so I'm going to show her what a real champion does, and owns at WrestleMania. And, you know, people can try to take the title away from me, but I can guarantee you that I'm not going down without a fight.
Let me ask you one last question, because you did bring up Daniel Bryan. How important has Talking Smack been in sort of developing the identity of SmackDown Live, allowing sort of yourself and other personalities to really shine and sort of, I guess, extend storylines and exposure to the talent to the audience?
Oh, I love Talking Smack. Talking Smack is so much fun because, you know, you just go out there and you say what you feel. You know, there's no points to hit. There's no things you need to say. We go out there and we say how we really feel, you know, and for some reason, every week I have a little banter with Daniel Bryan, but I think it's just because he doesn't like me. Not really. But, you know, it's a lot of fun, you know, just to go out there and be able to say what you want and, you know, get to let the audience in on, you know, pieces of the storylines that, you know, maybe they don't see in the ring. And it's a lot of fun to go out there and just really just talk smack.
Alexa, good luck to you. I will be at WrestleMania again this year, so I look forward to the match and enjoy the experience for this one being your first real one.
Thank you.
And there you have it, ladies and gents, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. Be sure to tune into the WWE Network on Sunday, April 2nd for WrestleMania 33 to see Little Miss Bliss put her title on the line and maybe emerge victorious over all her challengers, in addition to so many other exciting matches at the biggest event on the wrestling calendar every year. And be sure to like this video down below. Feel free to join in the discussion by leaving your own comments and subscribe to the This Is Infamous YouTube channel as a whole so you can be notified of all new video reviews and interviews that may come your way. That way, you never miss a bit of content from us. Until next time, I'm Billy Donnelly for This Is Infamous.